In this video, we're going to show you how to install the rear park assist sensors on your Ford Explorer located inside the rear bumper. We're going to go ahead and remove our taillights. We're going to start by opening up that rear hatch. And you're going to find two buttons right here. I'm going to use a small pick. I'm going to go ahead and pop this button out. We're going to use an 8mm socket to go ahead and loosen and remove both of these bolts. With both of those out, should be able to grab this taillight, wiggle it. I'm going to pull it straight back. We're simply going to set the taillight inside here. We're going to go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. Now there are trim screws here that we need to loosen and remove. There's one right here that will be located underneath the taillight, and then one right here. There's two more on the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and remove all four of these. All right, let's go ahead and get the two off the other side. On the bottom side of the rear bumper, you're going to find two plastic push pins. I'm going to go ahead and pop these out. Sometimes these have a tendency to break. If they do, we'll just have to source a replacement button or two. All right, then go ahead and get the one on the passenger side here. Using a 19mm socket, loosen and remove the lug nuts. Once you have the lug nuts removed, grab the wheel, remove it, and set it aside. And on the back side here, we have a series of 7/32 screws, as well as one of these plastic trim buttons here. So we're going to go ahead and remove this first. Once you have that out, let's go ahead and remove the other screws. You're going to go ahead and pull this molding out. You're going to locate a 7/32 screw on the back here. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. Now with your hand underneath the molding here, you're gently going to grab the bumper and just gently tug outward. You're going to be disconnecting the bumper from the bumper mounting bracket there. All right, with that separated, we're going to go ahead and repeat the same for the passenger side. Now there's a plastic retainer pin right here. Do not grab the bumper and yank it back. You want to grab the bumper and lift it up over that. Put your finger in there or around here, lift up and over. Pop that off. grab that bumper and just gently wiggle it. Let's go ahead and do the same to the passenger side. Now at this point here, the bumper is loose. We're going to gently pull it away from the vehicle, giving us access to the components on the back side. Now our bumper itself had some damage on the bottom side here, and if you follow it up, there's a mounting bracket right here that was broken and is actually held in place by the screw right here that goes into the back. Now this happened on both sides of our bumper. So at this point here, you probably want to try and replace this bracket if you can. Now with the bumper disconnected and lowered a little bit, it's still hanging off the metal beam up top. We're underneath here and you can locate the inboard park sensors here. There's one here, there's one over on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and remove the sensor. We're going to open up these little tabs here and pull the sensor out. Here's a sensor there. Now we can grab that connector, push it on that tab, and separate it like so. Let's go ahead and connect our sensor to the harness, push that in. You're gonna feel it and hear it snap into place. Then you wanna go ahead and line that up and push it between the two tabs. You can reach on the outside of the bumper and push on the back of the sensor. Make sure it's fully seated. You're gonna feel those two tabs snap into place. Now you can replace these individually. While you're here, you have access to the other three. You can go ahead and replace those now as well. At this point here, we're all set. Let's go ahead and reinstall our bumper. We can now grab our bumper and gently lift this up into position. Now we're just gonna bring up our bumper. We're gonna set it up on these little tabs right here on the supports. We also wanna focus on the inside. There's gonna be plastic alignment pins on the pad on the inside here. We're gonna go ahead and lift up our bumper and set it up onto that little tab. That's secured there. Now we can go ahead and take our bumper and start to press that onto our retainer along the side. Once this is lined up here and popped in, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. I'm gonna install the screw here for the back bumper and get that lined up. Go ahead and snug that down. Go ahead and repeat for the other side. Sourced a replacement button for this. Go ahead and line up your fender flare here, or your fender molding. You just want to make these snug once they bottom out. Just give it a little bit more. Go ahead and install that wheel. We'll go ahead and start all of our lug nuts by hand. Once we get all of these started by hand, we'll then follow up by snugging them down. Torque the wheel to 100 foot-pounds. Going to insert your trim button here. Now we had to source some replacements because ours broke. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this for the other side. Now on the underside here, beside the push pins that we put in, you have your two brackets. There's one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. Ours were broken from, looks like some sort of impact to the back bumper. If you were able to remove your bolts from yours, go ahead and install those now. In our case, we cannot do that, so we're going to leave ours. Install your plastic trim buttons here. We've got 2 on this side, 2 on the passenger side. Once you get those buttons in, I'm going to grab our taillight. We'll go ahead and line this up. Make sure your trim molding is on the inside of the gasket here. Now we can go ahead and install these screws. Just snug those down. Once we have those in, go ahead and grab your trim buttons. Now there's 2 little holes on either side, and our buttons have 2 little tabs. Go ahead and line those up. Snap that in. Do the same for the bottom. Go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. Now that you got your buttons on, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.